Hello, everyone, and welcome to CFO Unboxed, the boardroom conversation series by Transformance. Here we speak with finance leaders shaping the future of business. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by Nicolas Raynaud, who is the Chief Financial Officer at the Science Museum Group. Nicolas brings more than 2 decades of leadership experience in different sectors. Today, he leads finance, IT, legal, and procurement while helping drive strategy transformation at one of the UK's most iconic institutions. Nicholas, thank you so much for joining us today. We warmly welcome you.
Thank you for having me.
So, Nicholas, looking back on your career across several sectors and leadership roles, what has been the biggest change you have witnessed in the role of today's CFO?
I would say it's been the broadening of the remit. I would say, 20 years ago, CFO could still get by being a traditional accountant, in inverted commas, focus on the numbers and try vaguely to relate them to a business. I think today, in today's world, it's totally impossible. So that scorekeeper aspect of a role has not gone away, of course. There's still, CFO as custodian, but it is so much broader. So the role has evolved into a business advisor role, into financial strategy and financial planning is a lot more prevalent, and it's probably because the world today is more uncertain. Every sector has to rethink its business model, and the CFO then gets to be at the center of these conversations.
That's a great perspective, and it really reflects how finance leadership has evolved beyond the numbers. So, let's talk about your own leadership journey. You have worked across international and fast changing business environments. So, what leadership lessons have remained, constant throughout your career?
I would say the first lesson that's remained constant is to take a business lens first. And this started, right a long way back when I started in social housing a quarter of a century ago, realizing that, visiting actual building sites or completed schemes completely changed my perspective on the business and led me to ask much better questions to the leadership at the time. And then that has remained constant to me, i.e., you need, as a finance professional, to really be on the ground, to visit museums in my current role, visit countries in Africa and Asia when I worked in international NGOs, and so on. So, business lenses first. And the second thing, which is perhaps less intuitive, is that at the end of the day, it's all about people, and it's not about systems or processes. So I'm saying that's counterintuitive because when you hear of issues, finance professionals, we're trained to focus on the system and process and get them right. And it is absolutely part of the role, don't get me wrong. But more often than not, over time, I have found that these system and process issues harked back in terms of root causes to people issues. It's about misunderstanding, it's about bruised egos, it's about lack of training, it's about poor explanation of poor leadership. So that has really remained a lesson. And the last one, perhaps for me, has been related to this people first approach. That as a CFO, your job ultimately is to build a team that's better than you, and it's about identifying untapped potential, starting with your direct reports and then more widely, and finding a way of unlocking the potential. And you have different different approaches. I won't go there on this call, but I would say the really good leader is, in my view, the leader that can happily step away for a while and let one or more deputies carry on.
I completely agree. Those leadership principles become very important as organizations continue to evolve. Speaking of evolution, let's talk about the relationship at the top. So, Nicholas, how has the relationship between CFO and CEOs, evolved in recent years, and what does an effective partnership look like today?
So that CFO-CEO relationship is in fact one to build in every organization, and each CEO, each CFO is different. So it's difficult to generalize, but still I would say there's been a realization with COVID that finance was at the heart of a business and everything it does. So that has tended to create stronger bonds than before, and perhaps that has enabled the value of support and challenge to be seen more clearly. I think ultimately it's about mutual respect and how, as a CFO, you learn to disagree or agree and form a real partnership.
That's a valuable insight, because strong collaboration at the executive level has never been more important. So let's move to how finance supports business decisions. So business today are under pressure to make faster decisions with better data. So how can finance team improve decision-making quality without slowing the business down?
Yeah. I would say it's a perennial question. When you receive a question, the deadline is usually yesterday. The natural tendency of a finance professional is to go through nth level of details, get accuracy. So actually, one thing I learned early on was to go against this natural tendency, realize the business need for a broad sense of direction, and build the tools to be able to meet very, very tight deadlines. Still to this day, I would say that nothing beats a good old financial model on Excel, just for speed of use. What you need to learn to do then is caveat your responses, explain that there are limitations, but I think it's not acceptable for a CFO to kick a request for urgent information into the long grass on the grounds that a specific process has not happened. So such as month end has not completed, or the forecasts are done quarterly, so you have to wait 2 or 3 months to get your answer. That's to me totally unacceptable. So as I said, it's down to being confident enough of your understanding of a business and the key drivers, so that you have your ready-made financial model at group level that you can tweak enough to cover most questions asked quickly, issue the right caveats, explain when a really accurate, detailed response will be available, and then I think you should be fine. The other thing that I found is, if you're really stuck, so if you're really stuck, and it's not so much a question of providing a hard document or a number or a fact. Nothing beats a call with your peers, with other external advisors. The word on the street can get you a very long way, many times.
That's an important balance every finance leader is trying to achieve. Another topic you have spoken about is AI and building the right foundation for transformation. So what impact do you think AI and automation will realistically have on finance teams over the next 3 to 5 years?
Obviously, an absolutely massive impact. The question is, at what cost, at what speed will it happen? What will be the genuine benefits? And I think every CFO is grappling with that. So we can all see that technology has improved beyond expectations. We can still see, though, that there are some real unknowns about cost of usage, and then that creates a tension, because as a CFO, it means that your return on investment is pretty hard to assess. Uh, so, I've been through my career going through lots of technological changes. I remember the days of the first, databases, with Microsoft, then the move to SQL, then the cloud-based systems, the move from very clunky ERPs to decent ERPs with reporting, to business warehousing, to Power BI, etc. So we're now into one such tech change. It's happening probably faster and it's more radical than the previous ones. So I think standing still is not an option. But as I said, you need to be, as a CFO, very, very conscious of value for money. So what I'm doing in my current role is working with the finance director to identify key processes that are robust enough right now, but have been partially automated or not yet automated, and are then ripe for a full AI treatment. So in the next few months, I'm hoping that we can make some trials on agentic process automation. It's very likely to be on purchase to pay, because this is where we have our biggest volumes, and this is where also the processes are most regular, repeatable. Where this will lead us next, I don't know, because I'm going back to the question of costs. What is absolutely remarkable when you talk to AI companies is how murky the pricing is. So I would say I will have a better answer in 6 months once we see, based on our activity volume, what benefits we can truly evidence.
I like that practical perspective, because AI isn't just about technology, it's about creating real business value. That's true. So, Nicholas, before we wrap up, I'd like to ask you one final question. So, what advice you would like to give to finance professional who aspire to move, into strategic leadership roles?
Well, I would say probably two pieces of advice that were given to me at some stage in my career, and I think were really the right ones. So the first one is develop your soft skills, and to the extent that they are at least as good as your hard skills. By training, you come from an accounting or business or financial training background, you will be confident with numbers. You need to be equally confident with people, and more importantly, you need to understand that your perspective as an accountant, a finance professional, is one perspective amongst many in a company, and that the language you speak is not necessarily understood outside the confines of your department. So that importance of soft skills, stakeholder management, communication, absolutely key. The second one is I would say obvious, but I've seen too many times people absolutely not applying it, and it's that if you're serious about your career, you need to be in the driving seat. You can't afford to be a passenger, even a co-pilot. No, you and you alone will be able to best identify what your strengths and weaknesses are, what you want to do next, when it's time to stretch yourself and really prove what you can do, when it's time to move on. There is only so much that you can expect from your line manager, whoever that is.
That's an excellent advice you have given, especially for the next generation of finance leaders. Nicholas, thank you once again for sharing your insights and experience with us today. For everyone watching, Nicholas will also be speaking at United Kingdom CFO Vision and Innovation Summit 2026 in London. The summit will bring together finance leaders to discuss the trends, challenges, and opportunities shaping the future of finance. If you are a CFO or a finance leader, we encourage you to join us. We look forward to host you in London. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode of CFO Unboxed, the Boardroom Conversation series. Thank you.